Hey there, it is Val with the Higher Vibe Project, and I'm here with my friend Tam. Hey, Tam,
Hello.
welcome. And today we are going to talk about all things, well, not all things, but we're going to talk about a couple of subjects today about living here on Mother Earth and some things that are of interest to both of us. And hopefully you'll get some good stuff out of it too. Where should we start, Tam? We talked about a
Um,
couple of things. Do you want to dive right into the nitty gritty and do some chemtrail stuff?
yeah, let's have a look. Let's find out what should we what we asking? What are they?
Well, yeah, I guess what my whole thing now is like I have not resonated with the chemtrail stuff lately. And it's been probably about 6 months. And I want to say at one point, I just decided I didn't want them anymore. So I kind of just went into my space and said chemtrails are not an issue. And weirdly enough, I live in New York, which is a very liberal state. So you figure if they're putting out chemtrails, they're doing it here, right? But I do not see them anymore. If I see one a month now, that's a lot. And I see there's a lot of people still focusing on this issue. So I want to know what's going on now with chemtrails. Are they harmful? Is this really something, or was this a psyop on either side? Like what's the deal with them? That's what I want to know. Are
Yeah.
they what's the there some people just say they're contrails, right? And it just has to do with the atmospheric pressure and certain kind of things like that. Other people say they're chemtrails and they're dumping all kinds of bad chemicals on us. So,
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say I see them all the time, but I don't even though I see them, I'm not interested in them anymore. I used to be like, oh my God, there they are again, the crisscrosses, the
yeah.
drones are out. But now I'm kind of like it's like I know they're there, but I'm not interested in them as well. So it's yeah, for here anyway in the UK where I am, it kind of creates like a film over this that I can see from the sun. So it's like, and when the sun's really bright, it's like it dissipates it. So I can, when I'm looking at it, sometimes I just think it's like it's fighting. Whatever's going on is fighting it anyway. So it's like dissipating it because it's like 1 minute it's there, the next minute it's like gone. So, but then some days it's not. So I don't really know. So yeah, I'm gonna try and clear my own what I know about chemtrails because looking at it for many years, and try and yeah figure out what they are
And for those of you that
energetically.
are new to me and Tam, when she talks about looking at what she does is called remote viewing, and she's really, really great at it. Gets a lot of great insights. Basically, she'll either go to her own higher self or maybe go to Gaia, depending on where she ends up. So it's good stuff.
Yeah. Right. Okay, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing my perspective. So as a human, and we're looking up and we're seeing it. And for me, it's like there's still this irritation. So I still obviously haven't like I'm a bit irritated by them because as soon as I was looking at it, I could feel like I was getting irritated just by their presence. So I wanted to have a look at it from another perspective. So I looked at it from like a universe looking down on it and all I see was holograms. So
Mm.
it was like it's not even real,
So another
but
psyop.
it's like a triggering way. Yeah, it just seems like from a so it's interesting for me because like I said, I was looking at it from my perspective and I'm still annoyed. So I still have some annoyance with them in my own reality. So that's why I'm still seeing them. And then that's probably why you're not seeing them because you're not annoyed by them anymore. So I'm going to go into this a bit more from the looking downwards on them. it seems like there's a lot of looking at it from that perspective, and I'm annoyed at myself now because because I'm like, oh, for God's sake, it's it's to create fear and for us to keep creating it. So I'm joining that by keep creating it, by keep being annoyed by it, by acting like it's a power over me when it's not. It's a projection. Like it's a yeah, I'm just tapping into a frequency. It just seems like it's a hologram, but it's a frequency that I'm aligning myself to, annoyingly. And I'm annoyed at myself for even aligning myself with it now because I can see it.
You just validated my own intuition, just feeling like that. I mean, I feel like I'm beating this drum all the time, right? For people like by, oh yes, okay, so there's one thing to go out and see what's going on in the world, right? To be aware of what's going on around you. There's another thing to concentrate on these things and internalize it. And that's how things are created. So if they get okay, let's say we haven't just really discussed who they are yet, but if they cannot create, they're not creators. So they require our energy and our thoughts to create things. So how else are they going to do it besides putting that information out there?
Yeah.
And in
It's
this,
just when they're, yeah, sorry.
no. Sometimes they will do things, right, to make it look like things are happening. So maybe at some point they were actually doing chemtrails. I'm not sure, but I know what you're seeing now. I think a lot of the power has been taken away, right?
I think that's what I was looking at from my perspective now. So that's what I was seeing now. I'll have a look. It was just when I was looking down and I was asking where this fear, it was like I was seeing all of these people really pushing it and there's real fear energy. Like it was like watching these people on, I guess, YouTube or on the videos, and there was a lot of like the energy of fear was literally coming out. It's because they're in fear as well. But yeah, so there seems to be a few people that actually know that they're not real as well, and it's like how it kind of started. But it feels like this is just like not mothballed. That's not the right. That's when it's gone down. It feels like it's escalated. So I think maybe like what you were saying is like maybe there was some truth in it before, and then people have held on to that, and then now we're creating it. So I'm gonna go because that's from what I can see now. So let me just have a look because it does feel like that's something. Let me just have a look. So okay, as soon as I asked when this started, I got 1960. It was very, very clear. 1960, this plane was going across, and there seemed to be certain areas where it's going across. Mainly, what I could see was London. So, and it was showing me this whole like small, dense, populated place to see it. So then there's more people that are focusing on it. And then it was like it was like somebody was telling people this is from this and this, and this is how it kind of started. And then it's stayed in the collective. This energy has stayed in the collective because it's staying on the fear. So if we have some fear in us, it's like holding on to that. And if you're looking into it, you're putting your attention into it, and then it's staying in that. So you're staying in that frequency that's seeing it. But from now, they're only holograms. But from there, so it was 1960 was
Wow.
when this is what I'm getting anyway. So this has been going on for a while where it's like they originally done it. And then I had a thought of there was this, and then what my mind was like taking me back to was in the UK many years ago. I don't know when it actually was, but there was this anthrax scare, and this was all fake as well. This was like a testing, and they sprayed stuff around, and it was making people exhibit symptoms of anthrax,
Mm.
but then they actually didn't have it was fake. But what it was people. It started with a few people. This is what I'm getting at the same time, was like this is a similar kind of thing that they were getting. So there's a few people that knew that were kind of telling everybody, oh, everyone's got anthrax, and that's how it kind of got out. So then everyone believed they had anthrax, and then everyone was giving themselves those symptoms because that's what they were told. But really what was happening is they were just spraying some of these chemicals that were just making people like, not very well in certain areas, but then it kind of carried on in bigger areas.
It
And
sounds similar to something we just went through that we can't mention.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all a mind trick. This is all a mind trick. So it's all about the mind and getting your frequency into alignment with what they want you to be thinking and what you're projecting. So the fear. This is all about fear. This is all
Yeah.
I keep seeing is all this fear. But there are people that know the truth, but are not telling the truth, that are still a part of trying to get you into fear. And these are the people that there's people on YouTube. It's like there are people on YouTube that know they're not real, and but are the ones that are probably the ones that are probably talking about this the most and saying about all of these things. And
I feel like there's a couple of reasons why somebody would know the truth. One, they're one of the people that want to create this reality, or they may not even be people, honestly. And two, people who want to get big followings, because that stuff sucks people in, right? Like
yeah,
we all kind of get sucked in by that fear thing. So you've got these YouTubers where they may not have malicious intent, but
yeah,
but keeping people in this vibe keeps them attached to them and their site, which is not quite as nefarious as the other ones, but it's still a distraction and a waste of time and keeping you from learning about your own internal power.
yeah, and keeping you in the fear frequency. I'm going to find out why this even, because I'm interested to actually why it even, what it's,
What's the
okay, this
purpose?
the
Why
fear,
they start it? Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in what was it just seemed like what I could see was from 1960. I don't know what happened then, but that's the date that come up was in 1960 that they had a couple of them in certain areas all around the world. But then it's like we've held on to that, and because we've held on to that in the collective, now that's why we're seeing it. And now it's like the more we talk about it, and the more we focus on it, the more we're seeing it, and the more we're in those frequencies. So that's actually why, and probably because people, since the internet, I guess, talking about it and people were starting to recognize it, now it's becoming a bit more that they're,
Oh yeah.
saying it is. And now
Goes
that's probably
around the
why we're
world
seeing
in
more.
seconds, you know?
Yeah.
If you put out something and millions of people can see it in seconds. So
So I don't really know what's significant about 1960, but that's just seemed all I could see was like this plane and it actually had these chemicals. But all these chemicals were actually doing was just making people sneeze. That's all I could see was like a sneezing, like a sneeze. It's basically just like your body naturally gets rid of things anyway.
yeah.
So it can't do anything to you. But I think it was probably just to get people just to focus a little bit more. And then it seemed like somebody was talking about what they are. And then that was it. Small following. Maybe because maybe, I'm just thinking, maybe because in the 1960s, people did become, a lot more open to things, and you had the whole
The
hippie,
hippie movement, yeah.
people were a lot more
Doing
like,
psychedelics and
yeah,
yeah.
psychedelics. So maybe they could, anyway, right, let me go and actually find out because I'm interested to find out why this even happened. What are they even about? Oh, okay.
I love that. Ooh.
Interesting. Okay, so what I'm getting, because it's quite hard to actually, because I'm trying to break through my own, like, because I've looked into
Your
this.
preconceived notions. Yeah.
Yeah, so trying to get rid of all of those. But what I could see, so what I was seeing was, so I asked why, what was even the point of this? apart from the fear, because the fear thing come up straight away, was like to be in that fear, low vibration, and to make you feel insignificant. But there was another thing was, well, sorry, there was two things. One was to actually get us to block out the sun and the sun's energy. Two, was to what's the word? What can't I think? It's literally keeps just gone out of my head now. It's like something, right, let me just double check because I'm getting all excited and now I've just forgotten what it was that had just come to my head. Um, so, and the other one was because the earth is changing. The earth has already been changing for some time. So because the earth is changing, they wanted to have, it's like this, it's kind of this, all I could see was like this big kind of complex of look how we're changing the planet. We're changing, I mean, I'm talking about them. Like it's like a, yeah, them, that we have the power to change the planet, and that's how they're doing it, but they're not. The planet's already on, she's already on her natural cycle, she's already shifting already, she's already going through so much healing. So it's interesting where 1960, around that, because it might have been that maybe the time that she really started, because I think it's Dolores Cannon that's talking about around the 40s, between 40s and 60s as well, that things changed because, you know, and if you think of the hippie movement as well, so that would make sense. It's kind of like it's like a mind program for us to think that they have more power. It's an illusion again. Oh my God, I feel so stupid for like being so annoyed at the whole
You
thing.
can't feel stupid about that because, you know, we've been inundated for all these years with this programming, right? So it's almost like blaming the rape victim, not to be crude, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of people will put the blame on the rape victim because she didn't dress appropriately. She didn't do this, but come on.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
So, you know,
horrendous.
we can't blame ourselves. And that's why I hate the word sheep too. And I don't like criticizing people that aren't like moving past certain things because we're all on our own path. And if you look at the powers that have been pushing us down and trying to keep us small, it's understandable. People have been brainwashed. I mean, some people have literally been brainwashed, so
Oh
it's
yeah, I
understandable.
was, you know, yeah, I was definitely a part of that for a very long time. And like I agree, I don't like the word like sheeple, and like I know that the main term for people to understand is asleep, but I don't like that either because we were hypnotized and it's just you were just not aware of yourself. Whereas now you, even if you're watching this video or watching any videos like this, it's because you're wanting to become more aware.
Mhm.
And you know, everyone has to take what resonates with them, because you know, people might see things. I'm just giving you from what I can see right now and from my perspective, and the more I learn and the more I grow and develop within me, the more I see things. I might see things slightly differently. That
Right.
kind of feels very strong, what I was just seeing though, and it kind of makes a sense now, and that's why I feel a bit stupid, because it's like, oh, I should have looked into this before, but I just
Don't
never
call
even thought
yourself
about it.
stupid. Words have power. You are one
No,
of the
I know. Yes, exactly. See, this is what I mean. This is the kind of thing that I end up, yeah. So words do have
it's
power, and then
tricky.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah,
We do this. Well, this is like our negative talk, right? Inside our heads all day long.
yeah,
We're constantly telling ourselves things to keep ourselves small. You said that earlier, keep
yeah,
us small and contained in a box when we're more powerful than we even know yet, you know? I mean,
yeah,
I'm not even to the point where I'm like 100% like, oh, I'm this powerful person. I believe I have head knowledge of it, right? But it hasn't like got into my whole body yet. So I haven't manifested that whole portion of it, but it's exciting to think that it's coming. I know that our gifts are going to continue to grow as we go down this path to wherever we're going.
Well, if you think, I always see consciousness as like expanding and then it's like contracting, expanding, and you know, because there is no time, it's all happening at the same time
Right.
simultaneously. But in this matrix, it's a time because that's the way that it works. So you've got the organic matrix, and then you've got the false matrix over the top, which is, that's why it's kind of messes with you, because
Yeah.
it's a copy of the organic matrix, but it's not quite right. But when you're born into
Well,
it,
that's
you
where the
don't,
distortion came in, right?
yeah,
It was allowed,
yeah,
but that distortion's being removed, which is good news. So,
yeah. But I don't, this is what I got this. I was looking into this the other day. I was kind of just following my heart, and my heart was telling me, because I see myself in like this bubble, and I was breaking free from this bubble, and then it was, it's basically like the ocean. I was going, and but because I was like, needed to swim, needed to get to the top so I could get a breath, and just needed to get to the top. But then it was like my heart was saying, but this is your journey. You already can breathe underwater. Like it's kind of like you're rushing
oh
to try and
wow,
get to the top. And then when I got to the top, there was more ocean again. So it was like you're rushing through your experience. You're not taking it in. So like I didn't see everything around me. I wasn't enjoying like the experience and just flowing with it. I was
I love that
forcing my way
analogy.
through it. So I was just like, oh. And then when I was trying to get air, then when it was like, oh, then it was like, you don't need any air because one, this is your imagination, and
Yeah,
two, this is like a metaphor to try to show you that you're trying to get somewhere, that you don't need to keep fighting. You need to enjoy the day and be present in the day. That's why it's called a present, because it
right.
is a present. It's a gift.
Well, and
So
it's remaining present in the moment that you know you can feel happiness and joy in every moment, regardless of what
yeah,
seems to be going on around you. And then that's how you create your next scenes, which will be better.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's all circular.
It's just reminding ourselves, isn't it, that
Yes.
because we're made up of frequencies, and then aligning ourselves with, with whichever frequencies, and we've been, in these denser frequencies, and that's why we can see it all. So that's why we're moving out of that. That's why we're becoming lighter, and I'm interested to see what our bodies are going to be like, because the more lighter we get, like with the physical body.
Well, so some people have a theory
Like,
that we're turning to crystalline, right? Like our bodies are
oh,
going
I don't
from,
know.
yeah, there's a theory out there. I haven't really looked at it intuitively myself, so I don't have an opinion about it, but they're saying that right now we're like carbon based, but as we move towards this event or whatever, where we're going, as we grow, we become crystalline, which I don't know much about it.
Interesting.
Maybe you want to take a look at that.
Yeah, I'll actually have a look because I'm interested. I didn't know that. Because I always think the more I've healed, like every time I heal something, it's like a dense energy that goes, and I feel lighter, and I feel like and then I know then you get to the next level, or the next trauma or the next dense energy and stuff, and then you do all of that, and then you feel lighter again. But then I'm like, am I going to get to the point where I'm going to be so light that I'm like, woohoo, I'm not even like here on this planet? Because like gravity, isn't that just a massive program as well? It's a huge mind program. It was Isaac Newton that said about the apple that dropped, and now, there's gravity. That
Yeah.
theory has never been tested, from what I understand.
I don't
Maybe
think
it
there's
has,
very many
but it's
scientific theories that have
challenged.
been proven.
No.
I
So,
forget who I was watching the other day, and he was who was it? They were talking about scientific theories, and then all this stuff that follow the science. Science is all God. Well, they said that like every theory, these theories have not been proven. They're still just
no.
theories to everything.
And that's what science is.
Yeah,
Science is supposed to be, you find something, and then you either, it's supposed to be repeatable, or you can disprove it, or you can expand on it. It's supposed to be ever changing and growing. That's why what I studied as a scientist, that's why I was a scientist, because I enjoyed finding out things. And then, just because someone says it's that, I was like, I want evidence for that. So that
yeah,
means I need to find out myself. But there's been obviously a lot of manipulation in a lot of science now, where you have to depend on where your funding's coming from, and if your funding isn't coming, then you can't do the science you want to do.
right.
Sorry, that's my, yeah, so you can't. So my door just went. It's typical, isn't it? Amazon delivery driver. Go away. Anyway, yeah, so he'll just drop it around the back. Just so it's supposed to have come 2 hours ago. Anyway, right. I wanted to actually look into the crystalline because that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what we would actually be like crystals. I haven't got a crystal, but like a
Or
crystal
I just,
body.
in my mind, I vision like a light body, that would just be more
Yeah, that's what I was
translucent or
thinking.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was because when I've connected with the high, like they don't like to be called higher beings, but when I've connected to other beings that are not in this like physical realm, they can go through different realms. They can have a physical body, but then they can choose not to, and then they can choose to energetically move, or they can go through portals. So it was like when they were showing me that, it was all the power of like our energies of consciousness. They just tap into consciousness because consciousness is everything. So I was like, so that's what I was thinking, that maybe that's what we're heading towards in this experience, that we're, yeah. So, but I don't know about the crystalline body. Yeah, maybe that's just another concept of it. Maybe,
Maybe it's the same thing, just the way people are
yeah,
verbalizing
maybe
it,
it's,
you know?
yeah. So let me have a look. Let's see about these. Oh, I'm not allowed to find out if this is in this lot, right? Okay, so right, because I was trying to ask, so I asked my higher self. So my heart was showing me, first of all, when I went into like a crystalline body, and I was like, oh, this looks fun, but it was like really hard. I was just like, oh, I don't know. It was it was just really weird. Like, so when I asked my heart, like, okay, so about the crystalline bodies, and what she was showing me was it looks like crystalline, but it's like light,
Yeah, that's
but
what
it's like
I'm saying.
sparkly. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
totally
But
makes
it's not
sense.
hard. It's not like a physical,
Yeah,
but it
no.
is, but you have a shape.
Yes.
So I could still see me, but I wasn't solid. So
That's
when I
what
asked, is this going to
translucent.
happen?
That's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. Translucent almost.
Well, it was like but it looked like diamonds. Like it's when diamonds like sparkle, it was a bit like that. So it's like the bright, sparkly kind of, so maybe that's what people are tapping into, this crystalline, because it does,
Yeah.
you know, kind of, I guess it kind of looks like that. But I just didn't see it as hard. But it was a form. It was like so it's
Yeah.
similar to what I've seen with those other beings. It was like you can have a form if you choose to, or
On
not.
one of my cyclobin trips, I remember when I went from one scene to another, I like traveled through the universe, but as I was traveling through the universe, I felt that kind of translucency in my body. Like it wasn't so, but then when I got to the next scene, like for instance, there was a forest scene that I went to, then I was back in a normal mortal body. So
Right, okay. I
bizarre.
think our bodies are important because that's how we experience the physical. Like, if
Yeah.
you're just a ball of energy, you're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to like move your body. Like, that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of thinking, I kind of don't want to lose my body because I enjoy being in a body, but I wouldn't mind it being a bit lighter or a bit
Yeah.
less weight.
Yeah.
But but
I would like a few
but
less
what I
wrinkles.
yeah. But when I did ask if it was going to happen, so I asked my higher self if it's going to happen in this lifetime. She was like, "I'm not telling you." So that's why I went, "Oh, I'm not
Well,
supposed to know." It was kind of like you need to just wait and see what happens. And it's yeah. So I don't know. I don't know whether it's the human evolution that's going to be on that, and it depends on if you're choosing to go down that path or think it will be a choice. But it did seem like it was very fluid, as in you can choose, but I don't think it's going to be like these hard. I think it might be maybe it's like a flesh kind of type because it had like the form. So it's still the form. So it wasn't like if that makes sense. It's still like a solid looking form,
if
but
I
like a
can go, if I
beautiful.
can go out and find a picture of what my intuition tells me about it. I'll post it in the messages in down below, because I have this thing in my mind, and it's hard to explain, but it's like you said, it's a body,
Yeah,
but just I don't know.
yeah.
I can't even explain what's in my head.
That's kind of what I'm. Yeah, so that's kind of what, because it's like you can still move around. It's like I'm seeing it. It's like it's still. So if you were just like a big ball of energy, you wouldn't be
No.
physically
And like you
moving
said, the
around.
reason we came to Earth incarnated here was to have experiences.
Mm,
So what's the point? If I can't have a good piece of pizza, I don't want it. Speaking of
exactly.
food, can we go on to another topic?
Yeah.
You have time for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of there's a lot of talk about organic food, right? Some people, I try and eat organic food, but then some people say that it's a psyop, like that you don't need to eat organic food, and some people can't afford it, right? It's pretty expensive. So I would really be interested to know if there is some value in sticking to organic food, or is it really not even organic? Are they slapping labels on food that isn't organic? It is our As part of our power, are we able to transmute any sort of problems with regular food? I know that's a lot of bundle up. I'm basically just trying to get the bottom line of whether or not we need to be eating organic food. Or,
Okay. Let me just ask about. First of all, um, my conscious showed me that it doesn't matter if you go for organic or non-organic. It's like I've literally just seen two broccolis. One was organic, one was not organic, and it was like I was watching people in the shop, and it was like their energies. It depends on, they'll just go for whichever. I think it really depends on your own. It's like following your own intuition, and it's like whatever resonates with you. It feels like it's more, it doesn't matter if it's organic or not. It's just whatever resonates with your energies. Doesn't seem to be any benefit or not benefit. They just look the same in that way. So let me have a look to see if there is anything different about it. I feel
right.
like it's more to do with like the economy than it is to do with the actual thing
Well,
itself.
like
But let
for
me
me, like
just
the reason I had started trying to eat organic was the whole discussion around pesticides, glyphosate being on the foods and things like that.
yeah. Okay, right. So it's interesting. What I got was organic food does tend to be, it just seemed to be more like on the natural side. It seemed to be, so there does seem to be a benefit in terms of if that's what you want to go with. It seems to be like it just what I could see was it the way that they're farming it, it seems to be more natural. But what I also seen was it also depends on the energy of the farmer and the method.
Yeah.
So what their intent is, that's what it seems to, if their intent is to, to have nice clean and stuff like that, it seems to grow. I've seen that it was more healthier, as in the plant would stay longer. So it just seemed like if you're going to get organic, you're going to have it in your fridge for longer. So that just seemed to be, but I think it's more about on an individual level. Like we can clear anything. When I asked about the pesticides, it was like
Don't worry.
it's not to worry at all. Like you can, if you believe in them, then they'll be in your energy field, and then you'll take them in. And then if you have fear of them, then they will accumulate in you. And but if if you're not in fear and you eat something, even if it's okay, if it says it's not organic and you've got it in your head but you don't care about it, you're still going to get the same goodness from it, because you've chosen that like piece of broccoli that's not organic. Like it doesn't seem to, it's all about you and
Right.
how you see it. But then it does seem to help depending on the farmer. So if you can have, it seems to be that there's two farmers, one's organic, one's non-organic. And if how they're farming it, like how their intent is and what is going actually into, like, because it's their energy field
Right.
and it's
Right.
their, so it really, like, you're picking up on that as well. So I feel like this could get bigger, because it feels like this is linked to like why things are so manufactured on a large level,
Because they're
because then it
taking
takes
out
out
the
that
humanity out
human
of it. Yeah.
connection. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like. So if you go to, I'm guessing that actually if you I actually did that exercise where I connected with I literally was like, right, what am I going to eat today? And then I went to the shop and then I followed my intuition, seen what I wanted to pick. And I ended up picking an avocado. But I was already consciously connected to this avocado before I even picked it. And I journeyed on this avocado, and it took me to like to how it was farmed. It was over in I think it was like South America, like Mexico way. And it was like how it was farmed. It was like this young guy who had responsibility for like a big chunk of these like avocado trees and stuff, and he was looking after them. And I was like tapping into him and how he was so happy with how he was growing them. And do you know what, that avocado was like one of the best tasting avocados I've ever
Love it.
had,
Oh, see, I
because I
love that.
tapped into it so much. But it was in my energy field, so I already knew about it. So it's kind of like the same sort of thing. You can tap into the energy of it, but then if it's mass produced and it's actually being produced in like a massive warehouse and their machines are doing it and there's no real human interaction with it, then you're not picking up on it's probably not going to taste as nice,
Oh, yeah, it
because
does.
you're not
You can
connecting
tell.
with it consciously.
And
So actually, I think
I
that's
didn't
bigger.
want to say too much before you started the journey because I know outside influences can have an impact, right, on what you see. And I didn't want to
Yeah.
push you in a certain direction. But lately at the store, when I've been picking up organic food, it's been laying flat for me. And then I go, yeah, but and there'll be something else that's not organic, or what I don't want, what I want is an organic option, and they have a beautiful one that isn't organic. But I'm like, oh, but the glyphosates. But then in the back of my mind, I kept saying, okay, why are you having this argument with yourself? Why are you putting yourself through this stress when you know
Yeah.
that you can ingest whatever you want and it's going to work for you? So just use your intuition and buy the damn food. And it's like everything inside is an argument inside my head, right? Like trying to talk me out of doing the easy thing, going with the flow, picking up the food. My husband's great at this. He doesn't, none of this shit bother. He's like, he'll get me organic food, but he thinks, why are you worrying about this? And he's perfectly healthy. So but even though like it's gonna be hard for me, and plus I'm a gardener. So like for me, my whole thing has been organic gardening. I've got to do this, but the food does taste better when it comes out of my garden because I'm out there every day picking bugs
Oh
off
yeah.
my hand and loving my veggies and being so excited when something gets ripe and I bring it in the
Yeah,
house.
because it's
Yes.
your intent.
Yeah.
It's you that's eating that. So
Yeah.
you're eating you.
Right. And when I go to the farmer's market and get the organic food, it's awesome. I go to the grocery store and get the organic food and it doesn't excite me. It's got an organic label on it, but I'm like, eh, it's not
Then
that.
you should go with that feeling,
Yeah.
really. That's, I've never really worried too much about it, because like I know that the organ in the UK anyway, I know that to get organic is just to do with the soil association, so it's about the soil. And there's all sorts of other things. And I know there was issues about one field, like, so one farmer was selling like half of his crops were organic, but then the other side of it was non-organic, and he's spraying that side, but then it like runs off, and
Yeah.
like, so there is still a chance of it. So it was kind of like I just thought, oh, I don't care anyway.
And once those pesticides get in the ground, It's in the water. So everything you water with the
Yeah.
water from the ground is, that's why I got to the point, like, well, here's the bottom line is, doesn't matter.
But you could really be worried about everything, like the air you
Everything
breathe, water
can
you
be neurotic.
drink,
Yep.
food, touching people, being around people, like all of that. You could be in so much fear and you would put that in your energy, and therefore you would be in fear. And that's, people get like stuck in their houses and stuff because of these
Yeah.
things,
They get
you know,
OCD.
and it's hard to get out of that as well. Like fear is a lower frequency, but um it's also like it's probably not what everyone wants to hear, but it's actually
I don't think
really
anybody's
like
going to want
a good
any to
thing.
hear anything of the stuff we just said.
No, but I think it's actually when you learn about your own fear, it makes you stronger because you're going into your fear, why you've got the fear. So that could be, childhood traumas, it could be past life traumas, it could be something generational, it could be something that's in your energy field that you need to understand.
Yes.
And that's why we have it, so that we could overcome these things. It makes you bring you more into you, and that's you become more aware of you, and fear is actually what drives you, because as humans sometimes we need that real push and really put to the edge, or real like for actual transformation to happen, we have to be really shaken to our core sometimes, and that's where fear, the energy of fear, is useful. So when you become real fear in something, it can shake you so much and you can feel so low, but then something either clicks in you and you're like, oh, I've had enough of this, and then it changes you and then you come out. So it's just, if you can feel that fear in so much, just imagine how much love you can feel,
Yeah.
because it's like equal,
Yeah.
so, and we can't always be in the love, like, oh, it's all lovely and that,
No,
like,
no, no, no,
it,
no, no.
don't get me wrong, every day is a gift to us. If you think about it, you can make it how your own. If you're the masters of our own reality, so we can create our own reality, like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you actually think of it, it's like, this is we're multi-dimensional beings having a human experience, and like it's fascinating. Like that's just, we're a part of
Fighting.
consciousness. Like
Yeah.
it's huge. Like I could go on and on and on about these things, but it's like how we've been inverted and how we're learning to like, so we're learning the subconscious energy that we have in us to make it conscious. Like that's huge. That's a huge thing. But to get there has to be, you have to go down these little dark holes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things to get to the light bits,
You
don't
have to
we?
peel a lot of painful layers.
Yeah. And we've all got our own stuff, and we've all got our own things, and it's our own journeys are unique to us. So, you know, everyone's at their own kind of stages. Like we're similar, we have similar energy, but how we express it is different. So that fear of, and I didn't even know what I was, just getting annoyed with the chemtrails. So that annoyance energy is, I need to actually look into why that is for me. But so that's a frequency in me that I've, that's holding on to some kind of trauma that is triggering me to be annoyed at that. It's probably, I'm feeling it now, it's like something to do with powerless. So it's like this energy in me that's feeling like I'm not empowered and that I don't have the power to create my own reality, which is stupid because I know I can create my own reality, but it's
But
these
they have spent a
underlining
lot of time putting
feelings.
things in our
Mm.
view that make us feel small and make us feel like we don't have that power. I mean, it's all around us. They talk about the white and the white hats, the dark hats, but they're all doing the same thing. They're
Yeah.
all pushing fear. I see
Yeah,
very
because they
few
all
of
want
these truthers out
ultimate
there.
control,
Yeah.
domination.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they want, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ultimate control. But that's the old reality. Like they can control all they want over there because
Yeah.
they're just imploding in on themselves while
And
we're over here
too,
trying to release all that.
they have to get used to the idea that we're not going to be their batteries much longer. You know.
Well, we're already on, but yeah. But then we still put our focus and our attention into it, so therefore we're still putting our energy into it. But yeah, because I think in our last video when we were talking about the BRICS summit and stuff, so I had to look yesterday. So I haven't looked at it, but I had to have a look to see if anything had changed because I wanted to find out if because I think there was all sorts of things like, oh, everything's going to completely change after this summit and stuff. Nothing's changed, but I did see that there was an agreement that the UK has made with India, and it's all about migration of people. And then there seems to be a lot about this, and I thought that's what I was picking up on, all of this, these people movements. So I thought that was quite interesting. It kind of confirmed a little bit of the things that I was seeing. So it's always nice to have a bit of confirmation that actually,
Yeah, I'll put a link
you
to
know,
that. I'll put a link to that first chat we did too that talked about that.
that's the other and the other post I've seen. This was really interesting. So this and I don't go into the post, but when you look up on the blimmin', as soon as I open the internet, it comes up with all these like news article stuff. So I was just scanning it. I normally try not to even look at it, but I was interested to see if there was anything that come up. But there was also another post about Russia getting sidelined, and how India's now want to get its oil from Saudi Arabia or something like that. I didn't know where they got it from before, but I just thought, that just another confirmation of stabbing each other in the back,
Yeah.
because they were all supposed to be all pally pally. But yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. I just thought I'd share that one because
Yeah.
I looked at it and I thought, oh, I better tell Val this because I just thought that was funny. Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
These people. Anyway, but
So should we do one more or wrap it up? It's up to you.
um yeah, let's do one more. I can hear
Okay.
my partner coming back from work now. So
This will
he's my
probably be
biggest
a quick one.
distraction.
Oh, please, if my husband was anywhere near. My office is in between the living room and the kitchen. So he walks by and stops and talks to me every time, no matter what I'm doing. Recording a video, writing something, whatever. I have to like finish my office space. So anyway. So my last question that is geared around our physical existence here on Earth is about grounding. I want to know if, I don't know if you're familiar with grounding, but there's the theory is that you go out in your bare feet, right? And you get energy from the earth. That part resonates with me.
Yeah, me too. I do
Yeah.
that a lot.
But there's also people that sell, again, here, money. So anytime there's money involved, my spidey senses go up, but that doesn't mean it's not true. They sell grounding things. So I spend a lot of time indoors. And so at my computer, and I'm not outside. I can't get outside. I can't, spend half an hour enough. So they have these pads that you put down, and it has a copper wire that goes into electricity, and it gets grounded outside. So I would like to know if those grounding pads and those grounding things work, or if it's just a waste of time. And obviously the best thing to do is to go out and step on Mother Earth, right? It's free, it's there.
Yeah.
But I would like,
Yeah.
if it works, I would like to have something here inside that's helping
Okay.
us out as well.
What's the name of these pads? Just so that I don't look at something like
Uh,
sanitary towels or something.
you know,
Because I thought I just said pads, and then
ground, I think, let me look up
are they
grounding.
just like grounding pads or
Yeah,
something?
I guess we
Like,
could just call it a grounding pad. I don't remember what this one company called them, but I think that's okay. Yeah, earthing grounding mats is the term they use.
okay. Let's have a look. Okay, I can actually, right, I've looked at them and I can see you having one. Like it was like you were showing me having one, but then it was like a dud. It wasn't doing anything. So again, it was like telling me like it's the power of your own belief. If you believe it works, then I think you'll get something from it. But what you showed me was like
Not
that
working.
it was just a dud. Yeah.
No,
But like
I like that
kind of
because
feel,
more
yeah,
and
it's
more,
this.
like we just talked about the organic food, and now with this grounding pad, it's just more and more I keep getting pushed down the line of like, you create all of this. You can connect with earth. You can clarify your food. You can do all of this. You don't need these products. You don't need anything outside yourself. So this is all good to me. I'm happy with
I
that.
feel like you can just ground anyway without like I try and center myself a lot. So like before I do journeys and stuff, I'm centering myself in, and that's like a form of grounding. Like I do like to connect with mother. We're always connected to Gaia, so it doesn't matter if we're, I think it's good. It's the good feeling to walk on the ground without, because it's like you feel like the ions and stuff like that, like how they move and stuff. But I feel like you can do that anywhere. Anywhere? Yeah, anywhere.
Just
Yeah.
by setting the
Anyhow,
intention.
anywhere. Yeah, just by setting that intention, just by grounding and just by connecting with Mother Earth. But I feel like being in those energies, because we think it's a matrix, right? So it's the organic matrix. So it's like if you go like walk into nature, it all has it, you're walking into like a different reality and you're picking up on that kind of frequency. And like trees have got such like a patient energy about them. Like every time I tap into trees, it's just patience. So it's like every time, and that's what we all could use with, is just
Yeah.
patience. And it's like you tap into nature and it's like gives you that relaxation, that patience, because you're surrounded by it, if you get what I mean. You're not all these other distractions, because this reality can be really distracting for all these things, especially if you tap into it.
Intentionally.
Yeah, and you can tap, like you can train yourself to like tap out of it. And I'm trying to, but like I'll sit in my garden and then like I don't mind hearing people because it's quite nice. I like to hear that. And when you hear kids playing and stuff like that, that's nice. And I love hearing the birds. But then when I hear the cars, it starts grating on me. And I'm like, I'm trying to zone out. Like, but then it's like then you hear them again. And it's not like they're loud, but it's just like it's that noise. And it just it really that bothers me. It's more things that I have to listen to, because actually you could probably zone out completely and then it wouldn't affect you. But it's obviously causing me a little bit of issues. So I need to look into it and find out.
Cool.
More things to add to my list.
Well, that was great stuff. I'm happy.
Good. Well, I hope it's useful and that
Oh,
everyone
absolutely.
can, you know, obviously take what resonates with you, and we'll ask these questions again, like maybe in like 6 months' time or something, and see if there's anything more that I can get from it.
And
But those are just the things.
like Tam just said, take what resonates and leave the rest, because you do create your own reality and you have every right to experience what you want to experience. So these are our sees, our intuitions, and the way that we see things right now. But
Yeah, but you need to believe in you, because you're all that matters. At the end of the day, that's it.
it's all you. It's all us.
It's all you. I know. Yeah. Every time I find like a blooming trauma or something, I'm like, it's all me. It's me again. It's me doing this to
Hello.
me. Why am I doing it? Sounds like a narcissist because it's all about me. But it is. It's all about you.
Yeah.
It's all about yourself.
Yeah.
But,
And your
okay,
experiences.
right.
All right, Tam. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye.